All right, so we're rolling, starting with the front of your shins. And let's go ahead and move up to the front of your thighs. Again, if I usually walk through these things just to give you some guidance as you go through. If there's an area that you know you need to roll, go ahead and do that. You know, if you're a little extra sore in certain places, that's no problem. All right, so we're on the front of your thighs. Let's go ahead and roll to the side of one thigh. So now we're rolling up and down your leg, on the outside of your leg. This is one where it's really easy to do it manually too if you don't have a roller. Just take the heel of your hand, go up and down the side of your leg. And let's switch to the other side. And then roll it over to the front. You're going to put that roller right on your hip flexors and kind of roll this area right here. That can tend to get really tight and sore. Again, the way we're going to do things today, we're going to set a countdown timer for 3 minutes. We're working through pairs of exercises. First pair is going to be a kettlebell deadlift or swing paired with a shoulder press. So we'll be pressing the weight up overhead. That'll be a one-arm thing. And we just go back and forth, counting down from 8. So we do 8 deadlifts, 8 shoulder presses each side, and then 7 deadlifts, 7 shoulder presses, 6, 6, and so on. That one you probably will not finish, and that's okay. The goal isn't to finish. The goal is to work for the 3 minutes. Okay, let's have a seat on the roller. Crossing one leg over. All right. So the things you should have handy today are a weight, potentially a different weight for your for the kettlebell deadlift or swing and the shoulder press, okay, because those are going to be 2 very different weights potentially. I'll probably just use the same weight just to keep things simple. All right, good. So let's move the roller off to the side. We're going to go to all fours. So from this position, we're just going to put your knees a little wider than your hips and sit back, pushing your tailbone up and moving forward. So go back and forward, just kind of doing this hip rock here. Don't let your tailbone tuck under as you get back towards your heels. So try to keep your tailbone up towards the sky as you sit back. Good, let's keep your hands on the floor. Bring one foot up next to your hand. We're going to use this as a hip flexor stretch today. So really try to push your hips down towards the floor, getting a good stretch on that back hip. Like to try to keep a neutral spine here if you can. So instead of arching down towards the floor where you're hunched through your back, really try to keep your head back and your chest up. And let's go ahead and switch sides. So we come back to all fours and we switch. If you feel like you can't quite get your chest up with your hands on the floor, just move your roller underneath your hands. So again, really pushing that your hips down towards the floor, getting a stretch down the front of the leg that's on the knee that's on the ground. And good. Okay, from here, from this all fours position, we're gonna do a quick shoulder warm up, right? So we're gonna keep a good, solid, strong spine, neutral spine. So make your belly strong like you just sneezed. And then you're gonna reach your thumb up towards the ceiling right in front of you. And now with a straight arm, we're gonna circle around. As you're circling around, you're gonna turn your palm up and we come behind your back. So you ultimately, we've got your hand off of your low back, but if you need to rest it there, that's fine. All right, so then we'll reach back out in front and to the floor. And then we'll switch sides. So the elbow comes, or with a totally straight arm, thumb comes up towards the ceiling, rotating around. Palm faces the ceiling as you're on your low back, or just hovering above your low back. And then we circle around, back to the front, and we'll switch. Good, circling around behind. Remember, as your hand is circling behind, you're rolling that palm to face the ceiling. So let's keep doing that. We're gonna do 5 times each side. Good, as you get to the back, that elbow is gonna bend, so you're almost trying to reach your hand up in between your shoulder blades. So as you circle back around, you're gonna bend that arm and really be reaching to try to reach up in between your shoulder blades. And once we get our 5 times each side, there you go, Jen, that's good, you got it. Okay, good. All right, so let's push up into this V position right here. So downward dog position. So from all fours, then we just push the hips up, push your hips up towards the ceiling. We're gonna use this as a hamstring stretch and a calf stretch. So you should be feeling a stretch down the back of your legs here. Letting those heels drop towards the ground. You'll also likely get a shoulder stretch out of this. That's good too. From here, let's bring one leg through, forward and through for a pigeon stretch. We're gonna hold this for a few breaths here, and then we're gonna go back to that downward dog, and then we'll switch sides. All right, so let's go back to that downward dog or upside down V position. Stretch the back of your legs, step through with the other leg. And let's switch one more time, back to that downward dog. Letting your heels drop down. And we come through with the first leg. So we're getting a stretch on the outside of your hip here. Again, trying to keep a nice neutral spine, not rounding over. And back to downward dog. And let's step through one more time. Should be on your second leg here. And good. All right, stand on one knee, we're gonna come up. Hands are gonna come up behind your head. As you come up behind your head, try not to pull yourself forward. So get your best posture. Then the hands go behind the head, you keep that good posture. We're gonna rotate toward your knee that's up and back to middle. So let's rotate 5 times. So as you turn, you're really thinking about pulling one elbow back, getting your chest to turn over that forward leg. And switch sides. So we're just doing 5 times each side. My left knee is up, so I'm going to be pulling my left elbow back. Always checking in, making sure you're staying tall. And good. All right, let's go ahead and stand. Okay, we're gonna go ahead, we're just gonna go through 20 bodyweight squats here, just to really get the legs warming. All right, so you can go at your pace, whatever depth you need, but we are gonna do 20 of them. All right, so we'll get started here. Again, going at your pace, feeling it out. As you squat down, you should feel nice, even pressure with your feet on the floor, maybe even pushing through your heels a little bit. We use a squat as kind of a mobility tool also. So as you're working through this, we're thinking about getting nice and low, spreading that floor part with your feet. I put my hands out in front just to help counterbalance, so I can really sit my hips back. Just allows me to keep my chest up without falling over backwards. Think about toes spread wide on the floor. Reaching your hips back, sitting down like you're going to touch your butt to the edge of a chair, then standing back up. Also take the time to make sure you're in the middle. Right, a lot of times if you have a stronger leg, you'll tend to sit into that leg as you stand up. So we just make sure we're going right down the middle and right back up. Okay, so we're gonna go reaching back. So all you're gonna do is you reach back as far as you can, tap the floor, and we alternate. We reach back and tap. Okay, so we should be getting the same hip movement as an SLDL here. Reaching back, tap the floor, and do 10 times each side. Okay. As you finish up your 10 there, remember the first pair is going to be a kettlebell swing. I'm going to put it in chat again. The first one is going to be a kettlebell swing or deadlift. The difference is just the speed there. If you find that kettlebell swings are not good for your back, make it a deadlift, which is just a little bit slower. And then you combine that with a shoulder press. So on your last swing or deadlift, right, this is the last swing. We can just bring that weight up and press from there. Assuming you got the overhead room, okay? All right, so we'll start with 8s and work our way down in 3 minutes. This one you won't probably finish because the shoulder press is one each side, but we work our way down into the 6s, maybe the 5s, okay? So we've got 3 minutes to work, starting with that deadlift or kettlebell swing. Ready? And here we go. Working your way between the 2 exercises for 3 minutes. Start with 8s. Work your way down. Obviously, you aren't going to be able to deadlift more than you can shoulder press. So just make sure that you can either change the weight accordingly, or the shoulder press is going to be the limiting factor there. We're 1 minute in. Making sure on your deadlift that weight is traveling right between your legs on the way down. Get that hamstring stretch at the bottom. Use the hamstring stretch to stand back up. So if we're doing it right here, the kettlebell should never touch the floor. It's always in your hands. "45 seconds left. Remember, just working your way through. The goal isn't to finish, just to keep working through the pair for the 3 minutes. 30 seconds left. Ten seconds. And time. All right, nice job. We'll take a minute off here. And during that minute, I'll explain the next pair. So the next pair, goblet squats and band or kettlebell row. So it'll go from goblet squat here, just dropping down. If you don't have weight, body weight is fine. And then you'll just drop the weight down here for a 2-hand row. So we're pulling the weight up to kind of the bottom of your rib cage. Right, so we're pulling here. Once you're done there, the weight comes right back up for another round of goblet squats. This one you might finish because we don't have to do each side. The other way you can do the row is if you have a band in between your feet, you grab one or both bands and come up like that. So if you're doing a bodyweight row, you can kind of just keep the band in between your feet. Okay, so again, we start with 8 of each, then we go to 7 of each, 6 of each, and so on. Okay, that's our minute rest. All right, we're gonna reset here for 3 minutes, working your way in between goblet squats and a 2-hand row. That's an overhand grip, so your palms are gonna face back behind you, are gonna face your body, okay? All right, let's get started with a goblet squat in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Remember, just like in warm-up, we got feet spread nice and flat on the floor. Spread your toes. Heels are gonna be pushing down through the floor. Just sounded crappy last time. For anybody that's wondering about the music, I went back and listened a little bit yesterday. I felt like it just sounded like somebody wasn't on mute. It just sounded like a bunch of chirps in the background. So you're gonna be on mute. So if you wanna throw your own music on, go for it. Okay, minute and a half left here. We're halfway through this one. 1 minute left. Finish.
No, I stopped at 3.
10 seconds. Okay, and relax. Good. Okay, we'll take a minute. By the way, we're going through this one more time this morning. So if you weren't happy with your first performance there, you have a chance to redeem yourself the next time we go through. Next 2 exercises, push-up position, pull through. So you'll be in that push-up position. You'll have your weight just outside one hand. You're going to reach across, grab that weight, bring it over. So that's 1, 2, and we work it through to 8. Right from there, just take that spot on the floor. Again, you can also do this like probably you'd have to use a standing position. I guess you could also just sit back on your heels and do the floor slide like this. Okay, it's a little tougher to get actual shoulder work out of that, but we're just here on the floor. And then the number one thing people will do is arch your back. So you're doing this kind of like seal thing where your chest is facing forward. Try to keep your belly strong and do that work with your shoulder blades. Just reaching forward, keeping arms parallel to the ground, and hands off of the floor, okay? So we'll go for 3 minutes, working your way through 8 pull-throughs, 8 prone floor slides, and 7, 7, 6, 6, and so on, all right? So, ready? Start with that push-up position, pull through. Ready, and go. Remember here, you're really trying to keep your hips level. Try not to shift from side to side. Another reminder, you're always going to do 8 of the floor slides. So no matter how many of the pull through you've done, you're always going to do 8 floor slides, just to make it worth the trip down there. You're about 1.5 minutes in here, halfway there. One minute to go. On that floor slide, you're really trying to keep your shoulders away from your ears. So try not to shrug up as you do that. "30 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Okay. We'll take our minute break here. And then we're going to go through one more time. About 12 more minutes left in this workout, gang. For anybody who, like, my back's a little bit tight this morning, so I made a couple changes. Instead of holding the weight up top for the goblet squat, I'm just holding it low. You know, anytime you have weight around your center of mass, it's much easier to handle than up top. So I'm doing my goblet squats this way. The difference between the squat and the deadlift then is, you know, when I do the squat, you can see my logo, my t-shirt logo. When I do the deadlift, it's more hip action. So that's the big difference there. Okay. So we're working our way back into deadlifts and the shoulder press. So 8 and 8, 7 and 7, 6 and 6, and so on. Okay. All right. Ready for 3 minutes. Deadlift and shoulder press. Ready and go. Remember, you can switch weights here if you need to, or for ease, stick with the same one. All right, halfway in, minute and a half to go. One minute left. Uh, 30 seconds. Making sure on those deadlifts you finish tall every time. Tall and strong like you're doing a standing plank. 10 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and good. Weights down. We'll take a minute. Goblet squat and row are next. So get whatever you need nearby. Should be able to do these in one place. Again, if you need a different weight for each one, that's totally fine. For ease of use and just keeping things nice and smooth and quick transitions, it's easier to use just the same weight. 15 seconds and we'll get going. Okay, goblet squats, 2-hand rows. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Good job, guys. Even when wherever that weight is, make sure your weight is nice and evenly spread over your feet. Good job, guys. Minute and a half left. Cecily, Lily, and Sophie, love the way the buddy system is working for you guys. Keep it up. One minute left. Again, keeping your feet nice and flat on the floor. Keep your toes spread out. Big toe is going to be putting pressure into the floor. 20 seconds left. Three, 2, 1, and relax. Good job. 1 minute break. And we head into our last group. 3 minutes of work left for the day. That's all. Take a little time here. Try to do some of those breathing exercises to bring your heart rate down. Control your breath here. Use this minute to get a good full recovery. or just some recovery, if it's not a full recovery. All right there?
Can't handle it. Squeeze.
Get the direct shot. Okay, 10 seconds, guys. We're going push-up position, pull through. So we're moving that weight from side to side, and then the prone floor slide. Again, remember, you're always going to do 8 of those floor slides. Okay, ready? And here we go. Last 3 minutes. Making sure your hips are nice and solid on the pull through. We'll try not to tilt from side to side. The wider your feet are, the easier that is. So if you're struggling with it, make your feet a little bit wider. On the floor slide, make sure your low back should be relaxed. Low back should be relaxed, not crunched to curl you up. Okay, we're over halfway there. 1:20 left. Thirty seconds left. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, and relax. If you're on the floor, just roll right over, face the ceiling. We'll go right into those breathing exercises. As your heart rate is still up, still kind of feel that air filling your belly first, but then your whole chest. So now we really try to control that breath. Don't worry so much about breathing with your heart rate right now, because it's likely your heart rate is up. So now we just start to slow things down, starting to bring the heart rate down. Now as things start to slow, we can start to count, find something that works with your heartbeat or your heart rate right now. So it might be 6 beats, it might be 8, might be 10. Just breathing in and starting to get a rhythm where you're taking, let's call it 8 heartbeats in, 8 heartbeats out. Just taking a second to transition here. You're letting your body know it's time to relax. So really focus on the mechanics here. Breathing into your belly. Letting that chest expand just a little bit if you need to. Helps to keep one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Just as a little cue. And let's take 3 more breaths. And we'll come up to some sort of seated position. All right. So sitting up, you can sit like I am with your just kind of sitting tall with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. You can put your hands behind you. You can sit cross-legged. You can do any combination of those. Just as long as you can sit tall and on top of your butt bones. So we want to make, if you think of your upper body as kind of a canister of air, we want to not crumple things down, but stay nice and tall so you can get as much air as possible in. And relax. Let's take 5 nice deep breaths here. Check in with your heart rate, see where you're at. If you can count with your heart, do that. Let's take 3 more breaths. And relax. Okay. Bye, Sung-hee. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, as usual, guys, the breathing part is optional, but I think it does sort of set you up to have a better post-workout, meaning you feel better after, feel a little bit more relaxed and ready for your day. All right. So I hope everybody's staying well. Good to see you this morning. This may be a record crowd on a Wednesday morning, so awesome job. And we're picking up t-shirts today. You're making some deliveries, so hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, Brian.
See ya.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you from Lily. She doesn't have audio.
That's okay.